Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Jared Lee, and I'm joined, as usual, by my lovely wife, Jamie Lee. So, Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing well. It is somehow almost summer, like getting toward the end of the school year, almost into May.
I mean, technically, when this comes out, it's May 1st. It's going to be May.
I knew you were going to do that. Wait, is the 30th the last day of the month?
Every year.
I thought it was
Every year,
31st.
April.
Okay, so some must have 31st and 30th. Okay. So, yeah, it is almost that time, which seems kind of crazy. Seems like it was, I literally feel like it was just the first of the year, like just a couple months ago.
Yeah. I mean, what do they say? Older you get, the faster time goes.
I also think it's something to do with when you do a lot of stuff on the internet, like things move so fast because like it's just
things change.
There's constantly things going on. And so in day-to-day life, yes. And then also just like all of a sudden you'll see a news story like, wait, that was 2 months ago. And you're like, oh, I forgot about that. But
yep. It's times change quickly around here.
just around here,
Just
though.
around here.
Nowhere else. I'm sure everybody else is like, no, time is just going as it should. Just slow.
Time goes by.
Like I remember as a kid, time went super slow, but I think they're in that whole there's a thing there's a term for it because as you get older, your perception of time changes. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
Probably.
I remember my parents and like people when I was older or when I was younger, adults would be like, time moves so fast. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Until like it takes forever for like school to get over and stuff like that. Now I'm like, man, time. Yeah, it's interesting. But enough about time.
We got a busy month.
Yes, it's a very busy month. We're going to do Epic Universe twice.
Yep.
At least.
Yep.
And then we have like birthday parties and
dance stuff for our daughter. And she's fully into it. So it's a big deal, especially this month. And she's got a recital beginning of June. So like just wrapping everything up for the year. It's just kind of, I mean, obviously a lot of parents go through this.
Yes.
You know, so it's not like crazy, but it's crazy for us just because it also coincides with the opening of Epic Universe, which if you listen to the Universal show, you know that we've gone a couple times. We're going to go again. And we've been covering that lately. So it's like, it's just been a lot.
Well, we got some news. Then we're going to talk about we stayed at the Swan, which we had always stayed at the Dolphin side. So we stayed at the Swan for a night, and they just had refurbed rooms. So we're going to talk about what we think about the refurbed rooms and Swan and Dolphin are kind of all mingled together there. So
don't forget about Swan Reserve.
We have stayed there as well.
They're over there as well.
That's true. They're the fancier one. They're like the fancy brother.
That one, well, we can talk about in a minute, but yes.
Yeah, that one's an interesting one. But yeah, we're going to talk all about that today. But before we get to the news, just want to remind everybody, if you're watching us on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're not watching us on YouTube and you'd like to, you can find us over at CTM Podcast on YouTube. We have video versions of the show over there and show clips that you can check out, along with shorts and things that we also post on, like, say, Instagram, places like that. I have a lot more content, especially Epic Universe coming out. I want to do some clips of that because I want to actually get footage this time and not just run around the park like crazy. So you can catch us over there. And, of course, if you're listening on good old trusty audio podcast form that's been around forever, you can find us on all the major platforms. Just ask you to please subscribe there and leave us a review if you're able to do it on that platform. We would greatly appreciate that. And, of course, if you want to check out some great theme park and pop culture apparel, shirts, and things of that nature, you can wear to the theme parks or just around the house or at home, whatever you want to do. You can go to ctmapparelco.com, and that is our clothing line, Capture the Magic Apparel, where we design everything in-house. We print it in-house. We don't use third-party printers, so it's the highest quality that we can give you. Jamie ships it out herself, so it's accurate. I would not be as accurate as Jamie is. So that part is taken care of by her, and we have some new designs in the shop as well that you can check out. And given that this will be May, you can use the promo code MAY and get 15% off of your order. And you can also get free shipping if you order $49 or more in the shop as well. So you can go to ctmapparelco.com, use the promo code MAY, get yourself 15% off, and get some great shirts that will last you for years. I have shirts I've been wearing for like 5+ years. So they last a long time. And maybe to our detriment. I don't know. And if you want to contribute to the show, that's a way to do it as well. So, again, ctmapparelco.com and use the promo code MAY. So,
okay.
Maybe I should do like an NSYNC, like, May.
Like, it's gonna.
Because now you saying that like 3 times a day and it's in my head.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm not sorry.
You're not really that sorry. All right, let's get to the news. So we have some details about the new Spaceship Earth Lounge. Geo82, as I like to call it, Geostorm.
Geostorm. I actually was looking it up and I put Geostorm in Google. I was like, that is incorrect.
Well,
Jamie.
Geostorm was also a fantastically fun movie.
Right.
By good, I mean bad. And
Isn't
also,
this a car?
It was a car.
Yeah.
It was a Geostorm. Was a car.
Yeah.
It had like 89 miles to the gallon or something crazy like that.
So henceforth it shall be named Geostorm to us.
That's what I'm going to call it now. But they call it Geo82. And then we have the opening day menu and a fireworks experience that they are offering.
Yeah, so the lounge officially opens June 4th. Reservations will be required, and those will open May 6th. So basically a week from this past Wednesday. The website mentions that the space is extremely limited. That's what it says on the website. Extremely limited. So, we've seen concept art, we've seen pictures of the space, and it looks like there's just not a lot of tables in there. There's just not going to be a lot of availability for every day. So, obviously, if you want to try this place.
How many tables would you say are probably in there?
I mean, just going solely on the concept art, I've never stepped foot in there before. I don't think you have either.
I have
right?
not.
Okay. I would say, I don't know, 16?
Yeah, I was thinking under 20.
15? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then ones that line the window, there's even less than that, like 6.
They make, because the windows, I mean, there's like, 4 windows there?
Yeah, like
so
it's small amount.
2 tables per window, that would give you about 8?
Maybe. I don't know. Again, like we're just kind of spitballing here, but like we'll figure it out. This is a 21 and year and older lounge. So this is not for children, just a reminder of that. And it's on the World Celebration side of Spaceship Earth. So it looks over World Celebration Gardens area and does have a view of, you can see World Showcase from there. There is a menu. They did release the menu items that will be available. We're not going to go through every item, but we can tell you that there's going to be 9 exclusive cocktails, a bourbon flight, beer and wine selections, 2 non-alcoholic drinks, and there are 5 small bite options. So it's not a big menu.
Right. Seems like they're wanting you people to get in and out of here fairly quickly.
Yeah, and they have like stuff like flatbreads, and there's I think there's like hummus maybe or something. It's just stuff like that that's going to be on the food menu. And obviously no prices have been released yet. They haven't put that on the website yet, but that's okay. And guests with reservations can mobile order a souvenir glass. You can either get a wine glass, like a stemmed wine glass, or a whiskey glass. But you have to have a reservation and actually dine there to get it. You can't just place a mobile order, which is interesting. There's also a fireworks experience that they're offering for this place. It starts June 4th as well. And you can start making reservations for this May 6th. And let's talk about this.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing. So it is called the Geo82 Fireworks Experience.
Yeah.
It says, end your day in a dazzling way with light bites, sparkling sips, and seated fireworks views at the adult exclusive Geo82 Lounge.
Yep.
So you get seated by the window. So they
Right.
reserve these spots, so you have a guaranteed seat. And there are 5 windows. So maybe you have 10 tables in here. Potentially.
Does it say 5 windows?
Well, I'm looking at they have a little bit of a icon picture there.
Oh, I missed that.
So it looks like
Okay.
there's 5 windows. So if there's 2 tables per window, that
So
would
10?
They might have 10 tables
Okay.
here, so not many.
Okay.
Part of this, you get a champagne flight. Or no, you get champagne, maybe 1 or 2 glasses. They don't really say specifics, but it's been picked by a sommelier.
From Walt Disney World. You can also get the cocktails, but I'm guessing they're limiting how many you can get.
I don't believe this is all you can eat or drink.
It doesn't say that.
It also has a tasting tower of savory light bites that looks like a charcuterie board type stuff, with some deviled eggs and maybe some like mini sandwich type things. And
there's a desserts.
little dessert things.
Uh-huh.
Then there's a selection of sweets. Like I said, there's desserts there. And what is the price on this, Jamie?
Well, and also watch the fireworks.
Yes,
That's
of
also
course.
that.
You get to see the fireworks show.
So the price of this is $179, and that does not include tax or gratuity. So we're just going to round it up to $200.
I mean, the tax gratuity, you're going to be paying $200 per person.
Yes.
Easily.
So, when we first heard this price, we were talking about it. We're like, this seems very steep for this kind of experience.
Yeah.
So looking at the menu, because we don't know the prices yet, obviously, but this kind of experience for $180, I feel like that's way too much. Now, if you look at Celebration at the top, which is at California Grill, which is a very similar type of experience where you get food, you get sweets, you get drinks, and you get a view of the fireworks. And this at Celebration at the top, it's for Happily Ever After at Magic Kingdom from California Grill.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you get California Grill food.
Right. So you get all of this. That is $149. Go ahead.
Plus, you don't have to pay theme park admission.
Right. So there's that.
Jamie's going to be nicer than me. I think $180 for this is rather almost outlandish, at least in my opinion, considering, again, I think Luminous is an okay fireworks show.
It's not Happily Ever After.
It's not Happily Ever After. It's also not hard to get a spot to see this fireworks show.
Yes.
You can basically, 10 minutes before the show, basically anywhere in World Showcase, you can just stand there and see it.
Yep.
So it's not a difficult fireworks show to see. It's not like Happily Ever After where you have to stake out a spot on most nights to get a really good spot. You're going to be, you're going to have somebody sitting there holding a spot for an hour or so.
Yes.
It's also, I don't know how the food is. It's probably fine, but you're essentially just paying to be able to see the view from there. I don't know how good that view is because it's far away also.
Yeah, we were talking about if that's going to be an actual good view or not of the fireworks.
If you're on a far away view, California Grill is obviously not close, but you're also outside at a unique angle, and that's a very fancy setting. California Grill, we've eaten meals there, it's expensive. But it's
so
really,
good.
really good, and it's it's more of a date night spot. And the thing with California Grill as well, you get all the food, you get free drinks. That one is unlimited drinks. They're not going to get you blackout drunk, but you can drink multiple drinks. It doesn't say there's a limit. And then after the fireworks show, you get more stuff. So it's a whole thing. You're there for a long time.
Yeah.
This one being, I think the price may reflect the fact that there's not many tables.
I think that's part of it.
So I kind of look at this similar to maybe how the Star Cruiser, when I said that first opened, I said when it first opens, you're going to have a ton of people do it because, obviously it's new and people want to check it out. But at that price, longevity, is there enough people that will spend essentially, let's say you're on a date night, you got to pay to get it in the park, and then you're going to be paying, let's say 2 people, it's easily going to be $400 plus for this. Is it worth it to see Luminous and to get a couple of drinks? Also considering you could get some drinks at World Showcase. It's not like it's difficult to get, drinks and food in Epcot to begin with. So let's say you got some food and drinks, you're at maybe $50. Is the upcharge of $130 plus for the view worth it?
So it depends on who you are. Now, this is obviously supposed to be marketed as a premium experience. You're paying for the view, you're paying for the location, and you're paying for the fact that there's no children there.
Yes.
So I think that there is space for this kind of thing.
Oh, I don't doubt that. Yeah, I agree.
For you and I, this would not be something that we would probably do.
Not at this price point.
Right. Luminous is okay. I've seen it 2 or 3 times now, and I don't say I'm gonna go watch Luminous tonight. Unfortunately, I don't feel that way. I would definitely say I'm gonna go watch Happily Ever After, go watch that over and over again. But I just for us, we would just never say let's go spend $180 to go watch Luminous from way far back and just in this space. Now again, we could spend our money doing other things. You could go to an actual restaurant and get a lot of food for $180. You could do
Correct.
You could do a character meal. There's a lot of other ways to spend your money, obviously. And again, we're not saying this is for everybody. This is a premium experience, so it has its place. For most people, I don't know.
It's a premium price. I'm not sold. It's a premium experience.
We don't know yet.
It's unknown.
We don't know yet.
But my whole thing with this on Disney property, you have the California Grill one, which for me, if I'm looking to do something in this realm of a private, fireworks viewing where you get stuff, I would much rather go to California Grill. Also being inside for fireworks, if I'm watching fireworks, part of fireworks is hearing the booms, like being outside.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I don't feel like inside watching fireworks at that price point is necessarily like a advantage, I suppose. Also, you have dessert parties like at Magic Kingdom that are like 120-ish, 130, somewhere around there, that you get reserved seating, you get drinks and desserts with that. I would we've done dessert parties before. Like I would spend the money on those. And honestly, I would do the California. Actually, looking into this, I was like, I kind of want to do the California Grill thing. That looks actually like a lot of fun. And California Grill's food is fantastic.
Yeah.
And you get like sushi, stuff from the menu. Like you get a lot of stuff up there. This, given its luminous, like if you had this in Magic Kingdom, how hard it is to be, sometimes get a spot for Magic Kingdom. I think this would sell undoubtedly. And you could sit there and say $180. Like, okay, some people are going to pay it. And some people are going to pay this.
Yeah.
But
I just thought of something.
What's that?
Do you remember the concept art for Epcot before the transformation? They had that festival center, had that overhang where you could watch fireworks.
That's what they were going to do.
This is what this is. This is what they were going to do with that.
And that probably was what they're going to charge for it.
Yep.
Which
I bet you anything that's what they transfer that on
probably. But
that makes sense.
But given that one would have been outside up high, that's a unique view of the fireworks. Like again, I'm not going to be surprised. I mean, there are people this is going to appeal to some people. Whatever. It's to each their own. I think this will appeal a lot to the people that go like weekends at Epcot when you get the locals that come for date nights and things like without kids. I do think not allowing kids in here will limit the amount of people that would do it to begin with. Because some people may be interested and be like, oh, kids can't come. It's like, well, if you're on vacation, like...
There's a lot of childless people out there.
There are, but it's just one of those things where I'm very curious. Like, I'm not going to be surprised if the price drops on this after a while.
I can see it dropping slightly. Yep.
But
to match the California Grill one, maybe.
Yeah. Me personally, I feel like you would get more for your money at other experiences that Disney also offers.
But the argument is it's not even about like... bang for your buck. It's they want to market this as a premium experience. So they're like, yes, you get this and this, but like it's more like it's hard to explain what I'm saying, but like
I feel like for the price though, you need more food. And it needs to be like, is it unlimited drink? Like they don't say it could be unlimited drinks. It seems like they're saying you maybe get a couple of things. You're not getting like unlimited.
Like you get unlimited, like at the dessert parties at Magic Kingdom, you can eat as many of the desserts and drinks as you want, right?
Yeah, and
they're unlimited.
They had Blue Moon beer at the dessert party we did. So I would do one of those again or do the California Grill thing again before I would do. Looking at this, I just don't think that this is worth what they're charging to do it.
Yeah.
And again, I think if it was a better fireworks show and if it was like outdoor, there's just a lot of things about it. I'm like, but the one thing that could help it is the fact that you have very limited. If you only have 10 tables per night, there's probably 10 parties in a given day at Epcot that may do this. So, but that is available if people are interested. I'm sure people will be interested.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm curious what people say about it, what they think about it, and if it change. I mean, this is not uncommon for Disney to start something and then alter it and change it after feedback and stuff like that. So this very well could change if, depending on the feedback, I suppose. But yeah, for my personal states, though, I'd go to California Grill.
Yes.
Better fireworks show to begin with. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next story, which is VI pass holder summer days perks have been confirmed, and they're pretty good discounts.
Yes. Well, not just discounts. There's a lot. So there is, first of all, the date range is May 14th to July 31st. And we had already talked about that earlier. The pass holder lounge at Epcot is coming back, and that's at Restaurant Marrakesh in Morocco. And the hours are like 11 to 7. That gives you like charging capabilities with your cell phone. You get food and some refreshments. Sometimes characters that come in.
Sometimes. But
it's just like a place to just chill, get out of the heat. There's a pass holder magnet that will be available. They've dropped some hints so far of what it can be. They haven't confirmed who's going to be on it, but I think it's going to be a villain or a collection of the villains or something to promote the new villain show.
Probably.
Based on the hints. There's also a Disney Store discount online of 20% off from June 2nd through June 22nd. Now, annual pass holders, you get discounts in like merchandise discounts for 20% like all the time in Disney World.
Right.
But online, it's not always the case. So you can use that toward your purchase. And then this one is crazy. 40% off select restaurants during the week, Monday through Thursday. So May 14th through June 30th, you can do boat rides, Cape May Cafe dinner, Hollywood and Vine, Toledo Tapa Steak and Seafood, and Tusker House lunch and dinner. So you can get 40% off of all those places at those meals that I said, Monday through Thursday. July 1st to July 31st. So basically all of July, you can do Ale and Compass breakfast and lunch, Coral Reef, the Diamond Horseshoe, Tiffin's, and Whispering Canyon Cafe. So that's 40% off of the restaurants is huge.
I don't recall ever seeing 40%. I mean, off
either.
the restaurants. That is approaching cast member discounts at dining. I think they get 40
Do they get 40?
40 to 50%
Something like
off.
that.
It's something pretty steep.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not surprised. Again, I've talked about probably many, many times that in, given Epic Universe opening and they don't know, maybe they have an idea of how it'll affect them, but they're just going to run a lot of discounts. And they're also, I think, trying to bolster their annual pass holder, amount of people they have. So they got that half off on the down payment to try and, get more people in, and then offering things for people once they're pass holders to come into the parks and spend money. So this is again. So I think you're going to see. We've already seen a lot of discounts for hotels and all ticket packages and things like that. And then you have the pass holders. You got 40% off the dining, get 20% off on the website. Like you had said, if they do 30% off in the park shopping, that is something they could do as well. So I think this is going to be the strategy they use for the coming years, because if you look at, what do we always say? They lean on the pass holders when they need them, because pass holders don't spend as much money as infrequent, like, people that are flying in for a week or two vacation. They're going to spend more money overall. So if they have those people coming in, they don't really do a whole lot for pass holders, going to feel like they need them. But in this situation, if they're not seeing the people coming in like they usually have, you try and bolster those annual pass holders, because more than likely, once you become a pass holder, you're going to at least go once or twice. Like, you're going to justify going to the parks at least a few times. So you're running discounts to try and get them to come back into the parks and at least spend some money. And I think that's their strategy here, is to try and just sort of chip away and find little pockets here and there where you can get some more revenue, ergo this, fireworks experience, stuff like that. So you could see, I've said all along, I think you will see even more discounts.
Yeah.
Because in this month alone, they've ran, 3 different ones?
It's been crazy. Like, they're just upping those discounts everywhere. And some of these restaurants on this list, either I haven't had or both of us have never had. So 40% off, it's a good time to try something.
It is. Well, and if you think too, like I've said for a long time, I don't think people are necessarily spending more money. And when they go on trips nowadays, I think they're spending the same amount of money just on different things. And one of the first things people will cut is, first off, days in the park. So typically they're going 5 days. Now you see a lot of people going, 4 or less, or flying in same day, leaving same day, like still going, but they're just working it into a budget. So if they're spending money on lightning lanes, they're not going to be spending money on as much merchandise or dining.
Right.
So again, like I said with the hotels, if they had people dining, and probably at these restaurants, they wouldn't have to run 40% off for pass holders. They'd be like, well, we don't have to. We have people in here. So I think obviously, and you even talked about it last week when we looked, it's not even difficult now to get reservations for like Topolito's Terrace and some of these like that.
It depends on the day, but yeah.
It does. But years ago, remember, it was almost impossible to get some of these reservations, whereas now it's not that difficult to get these reservations at a lot of these places that in the past have been very difficult to get. So I think the spending behavior has altered. Like Disney, we do know from the leaks that they made probably at this point over $1 billion from lightning lanes, but that doesn't, like, that will show as a new revenue source for them. But I think they're seeing drop off in other places. And I think this is an indication of that, of just trying to get, offer discounts to get people to come in more. Yeah,
could be. I don't know. I think it's great.
Obviously, if you're a pass holder and you're going, you can get some really good deals this summer.
Yeah.
And I think the part of it is if people are coming in for Epic, they're trying to get people to also come over to them for 2, 3, however many days they want to come, and offering discounts to try and lure them over where it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're not a pass holder and you want to be at least in Florida, you have to be a Florida resident. You can do $99 down to get in, to pay the monthly payments to be a pass holder.
Yep. Pretty good deal.
No discounts if you're out of state.
Yeah.
That would be interesting if they did that, if they offered basically the payment plan for anybody and had the down payment lowered. Which if they,
I don't think they will do that.
And maybe not,
No.
but it also wasn't that long ago. Remember you couldn't buy an annual pass?
Right, but there's a reason they don't use the payment plan outside the state of Florida. There's a reason for it, and I forgot.
Well, I mean, Universal does.
Well, but Disney doesn't. And
I
there's
know.
a reason for it.
Well, they may have a reason. I'm saying if they got to the point where they wanted to get more, started offering, anybody from out of state could do the payment plan if they wanted to. Because I think Universal does it where if you're a Florida resident, you get a discounted rate, but anybody can basically do a monthly payment for an annual pass. But either way, though, yeah, you got some pretty hefty discounts going on. So.
Yep.
And I won't be surprised if going in after August, September, you see these extended as well.
Could be.
That would be my guess. But yeah, so you can check those out and save 40% off of select dining. So,
yes.
All right. Next story we have is May the 4th is this Saturday, if you're a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, so this is the annual Star Wars celebration that happens at Walt Disney World, Disneyland, and Disneyland Paris. So for Walt Disney World specifically, at Hollywood Studios, there will be some themed food and drink items that you can get, like the lightsaber churros. Those are very popular. And Battle of Hoth macaroon, which is insane. It's like the AT-ATs.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. But I'm not going to read all that's available because it's a big list. But you can also buy the Death Star popcorn bucket.
That does look pretty cool.
It does. It looks really cool. The Salvage Clone Trooper helmet popcorn bucket, the Jawa sipper, and the Coaxium sipper. Now, the Coaxium sipper said coming soon. They don't know when that's coming. So it won't be available probably on the 4th. It might, but we'll see.
Are all these things available past the 4th as well?
So some are available just the 4th, but most of them are available the 4th through the 31st of May.
Okay.
So, but it's just the celebration begins basically on the 4th. And that day, park reservations are sold out already. And it's a Saturday, so it'll be really busy.
Yeah, I mean, that's not too surprising there.
You can also build a new lightsaber from the Reclaimed and Reforged collection starting May 4th while supplies last. I don't know anything about that.
I don't know much about it. I've never built a lightsaber.
Okay.
There, so.
And then the May the 4th Be With You merchandise collection will be available beginning May 4th at the Stage 1 company store. And it's a virtual queue will be utilized. So that's the same store they use for like Jollywood Nights and some of the special event merchandise place. Just basically, they need a place to put all the festival or all the event merchandise, and that's where they choose to do it. You can also find the Empire Strikes Back 45th anniversary collection at the parks as well on the 4th. 45 years. That's crazy.
Empire's the best Star Wars movie they've ever made. So.
It is, but Revenge of the Sith that's out in theaters?
Revenge of the Sith is currently on. It's in theaters for a limited run, and it's made like $30 some odd million at this point.
That's insane. That movie's 20 years old. That's crazy.
Well, I think it still shows you there is a hunger for Star Wars.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's much of a hunger for lately what Disney's been doing with Star Wars as much.
Okay, well, we're not going to talk about that right now.
I know.
At the Lego store in Disney Springs, you can participate in a free make and take activity where you can assemble a complimentary mini build of Grogu in a pram. Like there's a little hover pram while supplies last.
So that's going to last about an hour before it's out.
2 seconds. I mean, it's complimentary. People are going to want to do it.
Yeah. Especially if it's Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Wait, May 4th is a Sunday. I correct myself. It's this weekend.
It is. Yes, it's Sunday.
That's what I thought. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, it's Sunday. Anyway, so that's it. Yep.
Okay. Well.
So you're into that.
Bring
your lightsaber.
Yes, if you want to lug it around all day. That's my beef with the lightsabers is like if you do build one or make it or bring one, you have to carry that thing around all day long.
That's true. I will say, Lou, if you're a Star Wars person, I'm sure this is just such a fun day to go to Hollywood Studios. So, like, just if you are and you can do it, do it.
I just wish they did more in terms like they had that thing going on at Disneyland.
Oh yeah,
with
Disneyland's where you want to go for this,
right?
for sure.
But it's like they had like a Luke Skywalker character walking around. They had a projection show on
Seasons
Smuggler's
of the
Run,
Force.
right?
Yes,
Stuff like that. Like I don't know why they don't do that. First off, all the time, but second,
Yeah.
and especially on like May 4th, like why would you not do a special thing? Have more characters in the land. Have Mando and Grogu, like all the things that people love. Like do that on this day.
I mean, it appears to me that they're doing the least amount of Star Wars stuff in Disney World.
Yes.
They're doing more in Disneyland and more in Disneyland Paris.
I mean, both of them need, I think, more elements in that land. I mean, I've talked about it before but especially on a day like May the 4th. Like I feel like that's a day you can make an exception and have Darth Vader, like have these characters in this land that people want to see.
Yeah.
But either way, if you are a Star Wars fan, they have stuff going on there, so you can check that out if you can get into the park that day.
There you go.
So we do have a rumor we're going to talk about, and this is about the Disney Starlight Parade that is rumored to debut in mid-July. So the rumor is based around the fireworks time being moved. So Happily Ever After showtime is 9:20 in June and early July. Starting July 6th, the time is moved to 10 p.m., so the thinking is that it will go on at 9 p.m. before the fireworks. I've also heard they may do two different parades, and it may go on till at 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock.
I could see that. I could see them doing that for the summer.
Which means Magic Kingdom will be open till midnight on most nights, which I think is a great thing. I want the parks open late. That's one of the biggest issue with all the theme parks lately is they all close too early because theme parks at night are great, especially in the summer.
I don't even want to talk about Universal right now.
Well, and that was my beef. Like
they make me so mad with their park hours.
Well, they do, and they just release Epic Universes, and they're only open, at least the opening phase, till 9 p.m.
That's ridiculous.
And you're like, this park was built for the night, and it's open till 9 o'clock, whereas I think Magic Kingdom, like if they are going to be open till midnight, I think that's great. Because some of the best memories I have in theme parks, I mean, we used to go and it was like it was open till like 2 a.m.
Oh my gosh. Or like even like the extra magic hours at night were like till 3.
Yeah, they used. I mean, they have at some points they would do 24 hours.
That's crazy.
I remember that, but yeah, I think if that's the case, I think that's a good thing. And the parks being open that late, again, especially in the summer, it's if the issue, which is funny to me that lately Disney said like, well, summer attendance is down because it's hot. I'm like, well, it's been hot in Florida forever. I think it's the fact that it's more expensive to go in Florida or in the summer now than it was before because of the way they do the pricing. But also, if heat is a thing, having the parks open later gives people a chance to still experience the parks when it's not, have the sun beating down on you during the day.
Yeah.
And I think that's something a lot of people would like to do. Like, at least I would. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, it would be great. I mean, right now, June 29th is the latest date I can see, like as far as park hours on the website. And it says they close at 10. So I think that once it hits July, once the parade starts, I think is when they'll start being open later. Hopefully.
Yeah. So hopefully that is true. So if that's the case, I think it's a good thing. Let all the parks be open late.
That's right. That's right.
At least in my opinion. But that's all the news and rumors that we have for today. But we are going to move on and talk about our stay at the Walt Disney World Swan Resort. So the Swan is connected to the Swan, or is connected to the Dolphin. They're kind of the Swan and Dolphin as it's known. Owned by Marriott, the Swan sits in the Epcot Resort area near the Boardwalk and Yacht Club.
It opened in January 1990. Along with the Dolphin, and it was basically a solution for the lack of convention space at Walt Disney World. They wanted more. They wanted to bring more people in, more meeting space, and this was the solution for that.
It's definitely a convention hotel.
Definitely.
I mean, both sides. You can definitely tell. Like it. Yeah. It is convention hotel all over it.
Yep.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, just think of certain demographics and business attire that you see all over the place, having very important speakerphone conversations constantly. I don't know. We walked to the pool and I passed at least 7 different people having what seemed to be very serious phone calls on speakerphone. Which that is one thing I don't. Your dad does that too. I don't take phone calls in front. Like if I get a phone call around other people, like I go off somewhere and have the phone conversation. Like I just don't openly have phone calls, especially if they're like business calls. I don't know. That's just me. I always find that wild. I'm like, you're just out in the open here, just
It's true.
talking numbers. But
Well, there's 576 rooms, which is much less than Dolphin. Dolphin has way more rooms. There was a $275 million renovation. It's actually still going on, but the room portion of the update is done at Swan. They're still working on the convention and meeting space because they're adding even more.
yeah,
So that's going on.
and they recently added the Swan Reserve.
That was back in 2021.
That was that, to my understanding, is more for some of the like CEO types. They wanted a different place to stay. It's a little bit more upscale there.
Oh, okay. It is smaller though.
We have stayed there.
Yeah, we stayed there back in 2022, I think. So guests that stay here can do early entry into the parks each day, just like the Disney World Resort guests. And you can experience the extended evening hours on select days like deluxe and DVC resort guests. So that's a cool perk of staying here. But you do not qualify for the free water park admission on check-in day.
Well, man.
Because you are not a Disney World Resort guest. That's not a Disney World owned hotel. Bus transportation is available to TTC, Animal Kingdom, and Disney Springs. I say TTC, it does not go directly to Magic Kingdom in the bus loop. They drop you off at TTC, and then you have to take monorail or I think sometimes buses, but monorail or a ferry over to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, this is the confusion for some people. Yeah,
Yep.
This is where they drop you off, and you still have to make your way over there.
Yep, and then you can because it's not Disney transportation; it's Mears. So,
Right.
Boat transportation is available to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. You can also just walk. You can just also walk to these places because it's right there.
This is true.
Yeah, and they have
Especially Epcot. Epcot's just right there.
And they have a bunch of dining. We didn't get to try any of the dining on this trip. We did go to the pool. We went to the feature pool that they have. They kind of share between all of the resorts. The Swan, the Dolphin, the Swan Reserve. They can all use it. And then, did we have any food there? No, we didn't. Did we? We didn't.
No, we did because we were actually there. So my sister-in-law, she was at a convention because it's a convention hotel. Yeah. So we were watching our nieces and nephews and had our kids with us. So we were watching them for the night, and they went to Epcot to have some sort of. They rented out to
his brother and
ride Galaxy or not Galaxies actually to ride Cosmic Rewind all night and had some event over there. So we were watching the kids, and I really like this pool area. It actually might be it's probably the biggest one on property or one of. In terms of size. It's
pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty big.
They have a lot of options around there. You can get food delivered to your chair, your lounge chair, wherever you're at. There's like a little cave area where you can kind of be secluded off. So it's a good size pool area, a lot of things to do. Yeah. So I've always enjoyed this one, but it does share with 3 different hotels. So that is probably one reason why it's so big.
There is a cool playground for the kids. They've got ping pong. They've got, I think there's a volleyball. There's basketball courts. There's also a lot to do.
There's also, there's that kind of like quiet pool. That's
the quiet pool.
Yeah, they have that as well.
Which is right next to the feature pool.
It is. There's plenty of there's plenty of food and bars around there. So like, if you want to get drinks and things, it has great views around there.
Yep.
We were there the evening. It was kind of nice and like maybe 70 degrees. So it felt
really good.
It felt great.
Yep.
You also here have a great gym. It's definitely the most complete gym on Disney property. One of the better ones I've seen in a hotel. Like it's a good size, almost like a commercial like gym. So if you want a good place to work out, this is a great place to do that. Mm-hmm. You've even got the paddle boats you can do out there, the little swans you can do, which I think are kind of overrated, but you can do them.
That's why they're free.
Yeah. So you kind of get in the middle there and you're like, I'm tired. I know I have to turn around. But it's from the ambiance standpoint, the location of it, like the pool activities, like the amount of restaurants around there, like, at the Dolphin, you currently have Shula's that's going to turn into that.
Michael
Mina's. You have a lot of food options. You have a lot of amenities.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, it's a very solid offering for the hotel.
Yeah.
Which we will talk about the rooms here in a moment. But from that end, I do like this hotel for where it's at, the things you get with it. And we didn't use it, but we even got, as part of staying there, we got $5, I think, in the arcade you could use.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We didn't. The kids wanted to do it. They swam for too long.
They're fine.
Yeah,
they're fine.
They were good.
So let's talk about the rooms then. So we had a resort view 2-queen room, and like we said, this was renovated, and there were some changes to it. First change I want to note: there is no more carpet.
Which is good.
Carpet's gone. However, this looks like a hospital room.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Dolphin or Swan's hotel rooms. I mean, this whole resort sort of has an 80s vibe to it.
Yeah. Like late 80s, early 90s for
it
sure.
definitely has that vibe going on with it. Mm-hmm. Nothing special about the rooms, but I will say even they have the laminate type flooring in the rooms.
Yeah.
Part of that was already kind of curling up a little bit, you could see. And these were just done like, when were they actually completed, these renovated rooms?
Like 2 months ago.
Yeah, it hasn't been very long.
Yeah.
So there were some things there that I don't think are going to last very long with that. It does have queen beds versus the Dolphins double beds.
Which is nice.
But that part is nice. And the beds were comfortable.
And they're always priced higher than Dolphin anyway.
Yeah.
Probably because of that. But yeah, you walk in, this room is very sterile. White walls, white sheets, very little anything on the walls as far as like decoration,
which is kind of the way.
Very little color.
Yeah, there's honestly that's a very modern hotel thing to do.
I understand.
I know. I don't like it,
it,
but that's what they all tend to do.
No, I get it, and like you can tell, like you said, it's a very older hotel. The hallways are more narrow.
Doorways are more narrow.
The doorways are no more narrow. It just the ceilings are lower.
Yeah.
Like there's just a lot that you can tell this is an older hotel. And while I appreciate the update, it's really nice. It's the room felt so small. Like, didn't you feel like it was kind of cramped in there?
It wasn't very big.
No.
It was not very
bigger
big.
than like the value hotels.
Yeah, but maybe about the same size. Maybe a little bigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I mean, the rooms are about what I was expecting them to be. Yeah. I kind of was a little underwhelmed when they were renovated. They didn't really feel that renovated. They didn't feel that different. But if you're there for a convention, if you're just looking for a place to sleep, you're in a pretty good location. Like, I get it. But yeah, I feel like the refurb was a little underwhelming, and just seeing some of the quality, like even some of the stuff, like the bathrooms that were redone, like some of the
bathrooms are tiny.
They are small, but some of the caulk that's like on the tile and stuff was already kind of like chipping away. So some of this stuff, has already, being a new refurb, is not looking great. So I don't imagine it's going to age well going forward.
Yeah.
But I mean,
they're okay, but I don't just think we'd ever be like, yeah, let's go stay at the Swan. You know what I mean? I never would say
I know some people, I know someone in particular that loves the Dolphin.
We do know someone.
Yes. I've never been that enamored with it.
Yeah.
It's okay. I think the location.
The lobby's pretty.
The lobby's nice. The Dolphin has a bigger lobby. It's got the bar in the lobby. It does, again, all the amenities around it, I do enjoy quite a bit. Like, you have tons of food options. You have things to do.
This location is good.
Location's great. I think the biggest downside to these is just the room itself. I don't think there's anything special about the rooms. But, a lot of people just want a place to sleep, and they just want a place and so if you're just looking for a place to lay your head, you want more amenities and a good location, like, this is a good location.
And if you're a Florida resident or an annual pass holder, they very often run discounts for those that qualify for that.
Yeah.
Plus, if you're a Marriott Rewards member, you get discounts there too. Like, so I would never pay like full price for this hotel. I would always get a discount.
Yeah, I would agree.
This is one of those hotels too that does, what's it called? The pricing changes, dynamic pricing. So like if it gets to the point where it's a really busy weekend, there's an event or whatever, then the pricing will just skyrocket for the night.
Yeah.
So it's not like Disney where it's like the same price no matter what. So that's something to consider. So if you do want to book this hotel or Dolphin or Swan Reserve, book far enough out that the inventory is still there.
Yeah, it's not a good last minute thing unless you happen to find like a good deal, I suppose.
Like Priceline. Sometimes Priceline was doing that.
You can get Priceline sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes those are blind things. Like there's tools and things you can use to try and narrow down like which one it may be. So you do have that's kind of running a risk of doing that, but you can get Priceline sometimes on it. But yeah, it's nothing that. Yeah, it was nothing like I wasn't already expecting about it. Like just being on the Swan side a bit more, like it has a smaller lobby, but it's very much the same vibe and feel as the Dolphin side.
I would never choose to stay here for a week.
No, I wouldn't either.
You know, couple days, sure. A week long at the Swan or Dolphin or Swan Reserve. I don't know. I think I'd want to get a little bit more Disney magic.
I mean, you do have on the Dolphin side, you have some of those balcony rooms and things like that. So it depends on the room
The
type.
murder balconies.
Well, no, you have the ones that have the actual walkout balcony.
Oh.
On the sides.
Oh, okay.
So you do have the murder balconies out there. And we call murder balconies on the Dolphin because it's just literally like a slab of concrete that has a railing on there.
And a huge space in between the railing and the wall.
Did they fix that on the Refurb?
I don't know. I haven't stayed there.
All I know is I don't trust that slab of concrete.
Nope.
But they do have that option there. But yeah, it's okay. It's fine. Like, I think I wanted to try. They have a specific beer that they sell just at the Swan and Dolphin. I was wanting to try it. I just never got around to doing it.
Oh, okay.
Because we were watching our niece and nephews, and then we left the next day, so we didn't have a ton of time here. But
yeah.
I mean, overall, it's about what I expected. Very much a convention hotel. I think the biggest point about it is the fact that you're just near the boardwalk. So if you're looking to go to Epcot, especially, you can go right there. Even Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if we're making a pros and con list, pros would be location, the pool, the perks you get for staying as a guest with early entry and extended evening hours.
Mm-hmm. Food.
The
a lot of food and drink option.
Yep. Cons would just be the room. Room's not great. And it's just a dated hotel.
Yeah.
Lots of conventioners.
It's
not as family friendly.
That is something. It's definitely being a convention hotel. It definitely has it's not that like they treat families differently.
Right.
But you know, if you've been to a convention hotel, people drink a lot. People get a little, they're on business trips. Like, people get a little loose, I guess you could say.
Loosey-goosey.
So there's a lot of that stuff going on.
Yeah.
If there's not a convention going on, not as much. But if you are there at that time, you will see a lot more of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I would say if you can find this under $300, it's a pretty good deal. Mm-hmm. Given the location of it and the perks you get with it, which you can find this sometimes in that price range.
It's rare to get it under 300.
It is rare
without a discount.
Well, that's what I was saying. If you can get a discount, like under $3, I would say.
It's worth it.
Yeah, but if it's over that, to me, I think there's better hotels, on property and things like that you could do.
Another con that we haven't mentioned is the resort fees.
Yeah, they do the resort fees.
Resort fees are like $38 a night, which is really high. Parking is about the same.
You do have parking and resort fees.
So the rate you get, for the night, it's not good all you're going to pay. You're going to pay more than that.
Well, and I wish, that's the thing about resort fees. I get it if you're going to use them, like the gym and things like that. Like, it's a legitimately good gym, and they have it's like, but you should have the option to say, hey, I'm not going to use the gym. I'm just looking for a place to sleep. I don't think you should have to pay a resort fee if you're not going to use it.
Well,
but that is something. So it's like, one thing I will always say about Disney property is, like, you don't have parking fees and you don't have extra resort fees. So, like, the price you have is the price you pay.
Yeah.
Outside of taxes.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah, which is nice. Mm-hmm. But yeah, having parking fee plus resort fee plus taxes, like, yeah, the price you are booking to pay is not the price you're going to end up paying.
Yeah, I do want to give Disney all the flowers for not doing any of those extras.
Flowers?
Give them their flowers.
Why are we giving them flowers?
You don't know what I'm saying. Okay.
I have no idea.
You give them perks, props,
gotcha.
snaps,
okay,
flowers,
snaps,
whatever.
Golf claps.
Just giving him like a lot of praise for still being like that, still having no resort fees and taking off the parking fees. Like, it's just, that's the rate plus tax, and that's what you pay.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. So.
And you don't have, a nice thing with most of the Disney properties, at least ones Disney operates, you actually don't even have to go to the front desk ever. You can just do everything.
I love that.
That is nice. Here, you still have to go to the front desk and stuff, things like that.
Yeah.
We did have an issue, which was kind of weird. We got into the room and the toilet was clogged as soon as we got in there, because our daughter went to go to the bathroom and she's like, it's not working. So I called down to the front desk and it was automated, and it basically it kept giving me a weird thing, and I couldn't talk to somebody. So then it again, and then they gave me a number, still automated, that I text. So I texted the number, and they did come and fix it, but it was just strange in that I couldn't get anybody to the front desk, and the whole thing was just to text them, which they didn't have anything in the room. Like, if they had something on the nightstand that just said, hey, if you have issues, text this number, that's not a big deal.
Well, Marriott Bonvoy or whatever they call it, they want you to use the app.
That's what they said. Use the
Yes.
app, and I was like, I don't have and we didn't
Well,
book the room ourselves.
It was under Jared's brother's name, so
Yeah.
we couldn't really use it anyway. So that was the issue
so
too.
just know that you could go down to the front desk, or you eventually can text a number. But yeah. So, what would you give it in this category for the perks and everything? Like 1 to 10.
I mean, what category would you put this in? I guess a deluxe.
It has
moderate deluxe.
It feels to me like a moderate hotel with deluxe amenities. That's kind of in my mind how I view it.
Okay.
So I'd say like a mid between a moderate and deluxe. I would probably go like a 7.
Like all the pros I already gave, I would probably give it a 7. But this hotel doesn't give me the feels, you guys. I don't have the Disney feels with this one.
It's very, like we said, it's a convention. It's very much of a business feel atmosphere to it. So if you're looking for more of a Disney-fied experience, you're not going to find it here.
Like, I would rather stay at Caribbean Beach without the option of extended evening hours and be still close to Hollywood Studios and Epcot than stay at Swan.
So you would rather not have the extended hours?
Yeah, I'd rather have more of a Disney.
See, I feel like most
resort.
people would rather have the extended hours.
That's fine. I'm saying like if I'm looking at a hotel, like if I'm going to spend time at the hotel, if I'm going to spend time at the pool a lot and still be close to the parks I want to be close to, and I want the theming. Yeah, I'll probably choose Caribbean Beach.
It's not a bad staycation hotel, though, given how many amenities you have and how close you are. Like, let's say even if you wanted to go to the parks, but you were spending a lot more, a resort where you can kind of like do a lot of things at the resort, it's not a bad choice for that. You do have a lot of things you can do here.
I guess. Yeah. I still don't like the resort fees, but
I don't either. But those withstanding, it's not a terrible spot by any means. Like I think that again the location of it is a big plus.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what would you put 7? You think?
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's our
review
of the Swan. So,
yeah.
but that is going to do it for the show.
Okay.
So be sure to check us out on social media. We're at Cap the Magic everywhere. Go check us out over there. Over on the Capture the Magic YouTube channel, which is also Cap the Magic. I do daily videos over there about theme parks and pop culture. So you can check that out. Almost at 12,000 subs closing in. So getting closer on that end. And whenever you do hear this, I will have done a live stream I'm going to do tonight as of recording, talking to some friends that went to the Fan Fest out at Universal Hollywood, where they had a bunch of like Back to the Future stuff and things like that.
Ooh.
So we're going to talk about that. So you can check that out on the replay if you want to hear about that event out there and just a more West Coast sort of experience out there. You can check that out. Then of course, video versions of the show you can catch over at CTM Podcast on YouTube as well. And we have other shows on the network. We have the CTM Universal show where we talk about Universal Studios. And currently that is twice a month. That it will become a weekly show once Epic Universe opens in about less than a month from now. So we'll have another one coming up where there's a lot of Epic Universe news all the time happening and all that stuff. So you can check that out on this feed and its own feed, which eventually it will be on its own feed once that goes weekly. So eventually check it out over there. And then Jamie has her trip report show, Trip Tales.
Trip Tales. Yep. I have a guest on every episode. Talks about the most recent Universal or Disney World vacation. And I will have a new one out 3 weeks, mid-May, something like that.
Okay.
And if you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, you can go to ctmtriptales.com and fill out the information about your trip. And if I'm interested, I will contact you.
There you go.
Yes.
All right, well, that's going to do it for the show. So thank you, everybody, for listening and or watching. And thank you, Jamie, for joining us.
Thank you.
And as Jamie always likes to say,
we will see you in the parks.
Bye.